Hello, everybody. Welcome to PS Comics. I love you. It is the official pop culture podcast of KRP Broadcasting. Of course, as always, Jer Kamakungan.
How y'all? Hey, how y'all doing?
What's going on? The man, the
been
myth, the legend.
I've been chilling, bro. I've been feeling good, man. Feeling good. How you been?
Doing all right.
All right, cool, man. And of
No,
course,
I'm good.
the man who, although he needs no further introduction, I'm going to introduce myself. He's my boy. So the right of me, left of me, I guess you could say that is the one, the only voice of reason, aka actually Kevin Pillow, aka Voice of Reason.
There you go.
Uh,
I was like, usually you're the one that has like 1,000 nicknames. So
That's true. I'm the one who has those nicknames, man. How are you doing, Mike? How is everyone doing? Actually, this fine, rainy Sunday here in
love it.
California.
Love it.
I do too. I actually wanted to go work out today, man. And then all right, cool. I woke up. I thought I woke up pretty early, right? And then I see outside. I'm like, oh, she's freaking it's dark outside. Like, oh man, it's probably like 5 a.m., like 5 p.m. or something, right? I wake up. It's like 9. Like 9, 8-ish, right? It's like already down for. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere today. I was supposed to work out. I was supposed to do a lot of stuff.
I did do my my workouts this morning.
Nice.
I was up at the gym on the pedal bike. At around 5:30ish, I think.
Nice.
And yeah, got my work in. Did about an hour and a half. Felt good. Then went across the street and got my grub on with my dad and my brother. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
That's chilling, man. Oh, shout out to TPJ, man. TPJ, what's up, man? We've been chilling, my bro. We've been chilling.
What is up, dude? What, Packer Jeff? What is up, dude?
I know what's up, my guy. Yeah, I just been chilling too. It has definitely been an interesting last couple of days, man. I will say too. I don't know. I don't know if it's you or me, or I don't know if it's just not you or me, but I don't know if it's. I don't know if it happens to you, but I know it happens to me. I've been looking at my phone as of late, and I see a lot of I watch football every now and then. I began a lot of a lot of people or dudes like that try to rush the field middle of the game, right? And in the last couple of days already, right? I saw one video of a guy oh, he's rushing the field, and then you see a security guard just full on just
I love
tank
those.
this dude, right? And then I just saw one before we actually aired. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I saw in the video of a guy who did his gender reveal on the field, and when the players took him out, and yeah, I mean, it's. I understand that that social media curates the stuff you're gonna look at, right? I get that. I'm gonna get more videos of that. And that's fine. But which is hilarious to me is the comments on these videos, right? Of people dudes oh man, that's legal. That's a lawsuit. You guys shouldn't be too rough. Like, bro, he rushed the field. He fucked around. He found out. It always. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's so funny that people say that all the time, like, oh, it's a lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they've been saying that for years. And guess what? People still rush the field. People still get tanked by players, by security guards.
It says, it legit says on your ticket, don't it's illegal if you rush the field. It's trespassing, right?
It's
so
trespassing.
It's bro, to me, I always feel like the people who call out, who say oh, that's legal. I feel like, in my mind, oh, you're the dude that rushed the field, right? You're the dude that wants to vicariously live through these people that want to rush the field. Hey, man, it's I understand it, I get it, but at the same time, it's you do you have the same energy for people who jump the fence I don't know, like a zoo, right? I'm not to say, I'm not trying to equate, of course, players with zoo animals, or not by that, but I'm just more so saying what's your thought process, bro? You fucked around, you found out, you got decked, man. It's what we don't live in a world of consequences. So come on, bro. You found out.
I just never understood. And I've been to games from high school up to the pros where people have rushed the field, and I am like, what kind of satisfaction are you getting out of that? But you're right; it's become increasing. More and more people are doing it, and they want their don't know if they want their 15 minutes of fame or what, but like, dude, you're just looked upon as an idiot. So, cheers to you.
Yeah, hey, Derpy level first. Hey, man, I'm gonna let you know right now. You ain't the only one, my guy. You ain't the only one. We're gonna talk about that heavy in this episode, my guy. I've been a big James Gunn fan for a minute, and just seeing James Gunn, hopefully, right the ship that's been wronged. And again, I understand people love Zack Snyder. He's a good artist, a horrible person to give the keys to direct everything. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. We're against that later on, man. But going into more, just like some of the more, like I guess, easier news for the day, the nerdier, well, I guess pretty nerdy regardless, but like the video game news of like the past couple of days. Yeah, the video game war show happened last Thursday, and and I gotta say they really amped up a lot of the production value last couple of
Yeah.
years. It looked pretty good. I watched a couple. Like I know it's 3 hours. I watched maybe like an hour or so of it just to see if there's any like reveals and stuff. It looked good. It looked really good. It looked very good production wise. It also felt like there's a lot of ads in the sense of like there's
Well,
I get it though. I get it. There's
yeah.
it's the guy who ran it. I forgot his name. Tip my tongue. He's been in the game for a very very long time. Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley. There you go. I understand he got to make some moves, shake some hands. I mean, Robert De Niro was there. I'm like, okay, how much money you had to shell out for Robert De Niro just to be there? It was either Robert De Niro or oh my god, dude, a Scarface
Al Pacino.
or Apple. It was like one of those. I forget which one. But he was there. I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird to have that guy there, but cool. Yeah. Yes. It's a derpy for 501st. Yes. I like I've said before in past episodes, Zack Snyder is a great artist, right? He those single shots of him, like those are straight out of like comic books. He's a great artist. Everything else between though, the context of it, he's not that. He hasn't really been that guy out of his whole career. And I've watched the majority of his films. His best work to date still is very much for me is 300 because it was a much more concise story for me. But like he's a great like those singular art panels, amazing. Like it's bar none in the game. Other than that, though, I actually really think if he was with another actual like another director, it would have been better. But before we get sidetracked, you had things to say, Kev?
Um, and we'll get more into Snyder, and we'll get into the comic
Mm-hmm.
book stuff here in a second,
Yeah,
or the video games. Um, Snyder is the closest thing we got to what Ang Lee tried to do with the Hulk. If anybody's ever seen
visually,
the
yeah,
Hulk movie with Eric Bana,
yeah,
the way it was presented was incredible because it was presented like a comic book. And what he did with 300, what he did with
sucker punch,
even what he did with oh my gosh, completely drew a blank. The first team up movie he did,
Watchmen.
Watchmen. He
Mm-hmm.
presented them like graphic novels. He presented them like they were ripped right from the pages. And yeah, so visually I just don't think his storyline, again, we'll get into this in a second, is like we'll get more into the Snyder compared to what James Gunn does and what some of the other guys are going to do with DC Comics. But nonetheless, video game awards, I heard a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
I do have God of War Ragnarok. I have not played it yet.
Same.
Again, shout out to my buddy Ernie for hooking a brother up. I do want to play it. I've been, just like I said, I've been on this FIFA kick, and then also been playing a little Battlefront with my son, and he is actually in the midst of playing Jedi Fallen Order for the first time by himself. So
Nice.
speaking of which, JR,
Start him young. Yep.
speaking of which, JR,
Yeah.
something got released 3 days ago during the Video Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a new trailer. And that is not a trailer that we normally air on this show. We're all about the trailers for, the movies and whatnot. But this is not a movie. This is a video game. And this premiered 3 days ago. We don't own this. This belongs to Electronic Arts and Lucasfilms. But we would be remiss if we did not show you the trailer for the
I
brand
love.
new
Oh my
Star
god.
Wars Jedi Survivor coming this March.
The order is gone. I was betrayed by the one I trusted most. I will not be imprisoned again.
Oh, so good.
I hear you've been busy making yourself the Empire's most wanted.
I know, dude. Oh,
Remind our friend here why his kind are supposed to be dead.
Here we go. After all we've done, the Empire has only grown stronger.
oh yeah.
Are we going to get multiplayer?
Are the
I hope not.
jokers?
Maybe. Oh, that's so
Jedi
sick,
is
dude.
a threat.
Boom, boom,
Now that we
boom.
have this,
The Force
my
is
God.
strong with.
As
Yeah,
long as we
time
fight.
stop, bro. Oh,
Hope survives.
so happy they fixed it. Ah, so good, man. So freaking March 17th, 2023. Yes.
So 3 months
21
and 6 days.
Yeah, man. 21 days left until like 20 some days left until the new year, man. It's crazy, bro. It is insane.
It is available for pre-order now.
Mm-hmm.
I did pre-order mine. I did pre-order
Mm-hmm.
the Ultimate Edition
Mm.
with the extra skins and whatnot.
I told you, bro. I told you, man. I told
And
you.
yeah, JR's been talking this game up since day one. Derpy looks sick. Wow, it really about to be 2023 in 3 weeks today. 21 days
Yep.
better be optimized for the next gens only.
Yeah,
It is.
it looks like it is, man. It's just man.
I did not see Derpy. I did not see it available for pre-order for PS4 or Xbox One. It looks to
Good,
be Xbox
good,
Series S, X, and PS5
good.
only.
It's look because like the game already like I again like the compression for our audio listeners as well, the compression that we see right now, or I would always recommend just looking at the YouTube videos, right? There's a 4K YouTube video already, and it looks amazing, and it looks absolutely freaking amazing. Like this is why you pay the high upfront cost for, like, for PS5, Xbox One X, or Xbox Series X, or maybe even a high end PC, man. Like this is what we should get every single time now. And yes, the guys who make the game, it's an EA developer, it's an EA developing company, and they made, I think, they're the guys that made, like, oh my gosh, what's that
Is it
current?
Respawn?
Yeah, Respawn, because they're the guys that made the current battle royale that's pretty popular right now too. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, they're a great group of guys. Great group of guys. They're awesome. I like. Oh, dude, I just can't. They're just a bunch of fans. They're just a bunch of nerds, dude. And the one thing I absolutely love. There's a lot of things I love about that trailer, man. But one thing I absolutely love is they finally fucking fixed Kylo's saber, man. That always annoyed me. Like the laser that just put out to the side. I know they kind of fixed it in 3, man. But like I'm just so happy now that, like, oh, there's actually more of a sensor bar in the bottom end, where it looks like, it's not just pure light anymore. And so I'm so glad they fixed that. Uh,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
know what to think of that because it Kylo's what do they call it? The
Crossbar.
crosshair crossbar
Yeah.
was only really brought into play once in the sequel trilogies, and
Mhm.
other than that, it was really only kind of just there
Yeah.
as being different, and
Mhm.
I never saw the purpose for it. So it was kind of like, okay, it was kind of metal for Cal Kestis to have it. And maybe it's his way, because I do get a feeling in this trailer, um, very, very, it feels very much like what we saw at the end of the first game, or sorry, the end of the first game,
Yeah.
where you deal with, of course, spoiler alert, Darth Vader at his
Oh
absolute
god.
most powerful. So
Oh
you're
god.
seeing Kylo, or not Kylo, you're seeing Cal,
Yeah.
really force strong in this one. And I'm wondering if this is him maybe flirting with the dark side, because he's so, because he was so far removed from the Jedi Order,
Mm,
and was just kind of like Obi-Wan was. He was a hermit. He was gone into recluse, and he just wanted to be left alone, and then he gets, pulled back in,
hmm
and he just becomes consumed. Who knows? It'll be
Yeah.
interesting. I cannot wait for the story. The storyline
Oh
in the
god.
first game was amazing.
Yep.
I wish they could put it on screen, but I think we were blessed enough to have it in video game form that that's fine.
I, like I've said before, and to Derpy, like we said before, man. Yeah, the sequel. I mostly agree what you said there, but like we said before, like the version, the version we that was in the the Obi-Wan series, right? That's basically felt Fallen Order. Like you, like the second sister, or was it? It was she was the third sister,
It's her
right? I
third
forgot her name.
sister.
Yeah, it's basically Trilla. She's basically Trilla. The underwater portion is basically that portion. It's basically, for me, it was
Mm.
very much ripped from that, put onto screen. I'm like, that's just, for me, that was lazy writing. I'm like, you could have gave Obi-Wan way more. You could have gave him a lot more than what you did. Like majority of the later parts of Obi-Wan was like, it made up for a lot of things, but it didn't make up for the whole series. Like I've said before, man, it was very much a retelling of Fallen Order. With, again, it was just very on the nose for me too. Like, all right, cool. Rather than getting Trilla, you got another pretty awesome black actress, but to play the third sister, really?
And I
That
think
much on
that
the
the
nose?
reason they did that, and you got to take into consideration that who was involved with producing that was Dave
Yeah,
Filoni, and Filoni has adamantly said that, and
yeah.
my
Video
microphone
games and
keeps my freaking microphone is just falling apart. This is what
you're chilling,
happens
bro.
when you
We
have
got kids
kids
running
messing
around.
around with your shit.
That's not good. But
Filoni has adamantly said that, um, we have TV shows, we have
mm,
movies, we have video games. All of them are a part of the
mm,
storytelling. And to tie into what we're going to talk about in a little bit, James Gunn has said the same thing. Hey,
oh
we've got
yes.
video games, we've got movies, we've got TV shows. Everything is going to be tied in,
Mm,
and um, I'm excited about that, but I still would love to see Cal Castis, because not everyone's going to pick up a video game. And I
yep.
would love to see Cal Castis get an opportunity to go be on at least the silver screen, or at least the
Yeah,
regular,
I,
on the
I,
small
f- I
screen.
feel like I think that's going to happen because the actor who plays Cal, I think it was Kyle Monahan. I think.
I think that's his
I
name.
forget. Yeah, Monahan's his last. I forgot his first name. He, like, obviously he looks more buffed up. I feel like that's going to happen somewhere down the line pretty fast, because like the guy is in his late 20s, and he looks like he's about to just jump over somewhere, and maybe he's gonna be part of a prequel series. Because like, if you look at timeline now, if he was to join in the current Mandalorian Ahsoka timeline, Cal will be well into his 40s or 50s at this point too. So maybe there would be a prequel series. Maybe they put him in like after the end of Endor, possibly. Maybe because it was somewhere around that timeline as well. So
Well, yeah,
because yeah,
because the events of, well, shit.
well, that's the
Um,
thing. We're gonna talk about Andor eventually, but like Andor's getting a season two. We all know this.
yeah, that's already done. Yeah,
We're getting a season two, and so the season two is still very much before oh my gosh, I just blanked right now. Before I was about to say Rebels for some dumb reason.
wait, what
Uh,
show are you talking about again?
no, the movie, with Jyn Erso,
Okay, so
the
the
standalone,
order, Rogue One
Rogue One. There you
leads
go.
directly into A New Hope,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
Andor season 1 and season 2
hmm
lead
Is
right
way before.
into, well,
Reb, is before.
I can't remember the exact timeline, but it's a couple of years leading
Yeah.
into the events of Rogue One.
Mm,
What's happening simultaneously to Rogue One is the events of Kenobi, the events
mm-hmm,
of Bad Batch, the events
mm-hmm.
of Solo, Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, and the events of Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order, I think, takes place at least, I
Cool.
want to say, about 20, 15, 20 years. Well, it depends because Cal as a Padawan looks to be about what, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, well, it's been kind of loosely referenced that he's about the same age as he was near the same age as Trilla because they were both from the academy. They're both
Yes.
from Jedi Academy, and so they're roughly around the same age around that time frame. I feel like still because there's nothing to get into that there was a lot. There's probably gonna be more series roughly around the time before New Hope, because here's a fan theory that's been put out there before, and I originally thought that that the original Jedi or Force sensitive individual that was in the Bacta tank was a Jedi before. I forgot the name. He was in Clone Wars. He's a very rugged, very wild looking Jedi, but they say it's not him. A lot of
In
people are trying. Go ahead.
in the at the end of
No, in the
what?
box tank. In the box tank. In the box tank in the
Oh,
trailer.
in the trailer.
I said his name before. I just forgot his name. It just slips my mind right now. But a lot of people are saying now that it's gonna be. I'm hoping this is true because it'd be an awesome freaking fan theory. That it's actually Starkiller from the original EA games from Force Unleashed. That would be freaking awesome because that would also tie into how strong Starkiller is. It's around the same storyline. It's around the same. It's around the same time too when Starkiller or I forgot the his original. He's a clone of another Jedi of the same Jedi person, and so Starkiller was seen to be near equal to Darth in that timeline, and he was also Darth Vader's Padawan. So like that would be a cool tidbit to see. I don't know how they would do it, but that would be a cool tidbit to see if that is the truth. It probably isn't, man. Unless they want to go just balls out, which I hope they do in the next couple of years, because man, we really need something crazy or something at least much more solid to get rid of the taste of the prequel sequel or the sequels. And so because it's looking like we're not gonna get a full length movie in the next couple of years, man. Still, it's been about what 5 years now since no, not 5 years. 2018, 2019 since episode 3 or technically
20, I
episode
think 2018, December of 2018 was when we
yeah
got
the third movie.
the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So
I don't think. Well, we'll have to wait and see because we do know, as we talked about in the previous episodes, that Bob Iger has retaken over the Walt Disney Corporation.
mhm,
And one of the things that is going around rumor wise within Disney is that he is going to scale back the Marvel Cinematic Universe
yep.
and then also really kind of clean things up at Lucasfilms, including possibly naming a new head of Lucasfilms, and of course, get their theatrical release schedule back
Yeah.
on schedule. Though they have been making really and truly one of the benefits of the Disney Plus app
Mm,
has been Lucasfilms television series. I think they have been, and I know everyone knows me. I'm a Marvel fanboy.
yeah.
I think that Lucasfilms entries into Disney Plus have been far superior to that of Marvel's, and I really enjoy
Yep.
Marvel's. But that says something
Mm,
about Lucasfilms.
yeah.
Mandalorian has been great.
Mm,
Derby, I saw what you said. Andor, I don't know. It's personal preference. I like the gritty groundedness of Andor. That it's very
mhm,
old school Star Wars, and we'll talk more about this in the Star Wars episode we're going to do probably next week.
yep.
Um, but I still kind of lean towards Mandalorian. Not that I like if I had to give it a grade, I'd give Andor like a 98 or a 99,
Yeah.
and I would give Mandalorian like a 98 or a 99. Kenobi I liked. Um, Book of Boba Fett was okay. And
Mm,
I'm really looking forward to Ahsoka.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like as a just as a, yeah, like as the showings particularly on Disney is that Marvel is gonna be quote unquote better because they'll have the movies for it, but like as in like actual content that they put out the last couple of years, man. Like there's quite literally nothing else that Disney has to offer that's better than Star Wars. Like granted, like people are gonna say that they're looking at the movies, which is fine, but like I'm also talking about like the continuation of Clone War, the ending of Clone Wars. They finally fucking finished that goddamn masterpiece. They finally finished Clone Wars, the Clone Wars saga. They the other things like Bad Batch, they're gonna be newer continuations of more animated series, and that's the type of shit that like for a long-standing fan that has been rocking with Star Wars, even when it freaking sucked, right? Like what, even when it was like you were freaking you were like bullied on to be a fan of it. It was like no, this is the type of stuff that this type of like understanding like any story can be a Star Wars story. So I look at that and I see that they can definitely do way more than what Marvel has been doing, man. And Marvel has been kind of regurgitating the same type of like lax narratives. I understand why they do it, right? It's Marvel's been doing the same thing that comics book has been doing for the last 80 years. They do everyone gets older, then about in that time frame they revert back to issue one and everybody becomes younger again. I don't know how many fucking times I don't know how many fucking times Spidey will lose MJ again. I don't know how many freaking times we're gonna lose Uncle Ben. I don't know how many fucking times we're gonna lose Wolfie is gonna lose Jean Grey again. It's the same story. I understand that they're looking at a new narrative. They're looking at a newer audience because it's continual. With Star Wars, though, it's been this longer, slower straight line, and I'm happy about that. So these are stories that kind of grew that should grow up with us, and I'm hoping that Disney won't will stop insulting our intelligence. Like they can tell a good story. We've seen them show good stories just with Clone Wars saga, with the animated series. Like that's like
Yeah.
just follow that fucking recipe, and you'll get shit better than freaking the entirety of Jedi or the Last Jedi, and as well as fucking Rise of Skywalker. But so yeah, I'm just happy about that, man. I just want to see more of this type of like continual universe meshing each other because I would love to see Monahan like have his own possible show because I would
Yeah.
love to see Cal Kestis. Like that's just crazy. I showed you that post from like I posted like what couple of months ago where the best thing in 2019 the first and second best thing that happened to Star Wars in 2019 was what Mandalorian season 2, I think season one and Star Wars Fallen Order. Even though Rise of Skywalker came out that year, and so so obviously, like that's what you need. You just need competent people writing a show. That's it.
Real quick to follow up on the video game awards, other stuff was announced during the awards, including Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Armored Core 4, Fires of Rubicon. Also from the makers of Elden Rings, which we'll get to in just a second. Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores DLC, a new Transformers game, Transformers Reactive, and of course, Jedi Survivor, the new Star Wars EA game. Big winners, talking about Elden Rings. They took home the big award for Game of the Year and RPG Game of the Year. God of War, Ragnarok, wins about 6 awards, including Best Narrative and Best Action Adventure.
Yeah.
Shocker.
I mean,
I've always heard that about the God of War series, and it's one of the things that I like about video games. A great video game, and again, not to jump back quickly, is what I liked about Jedi Fallen Order. It had a great story. I've been out of the gaming world for a while. I live vicariously through JR when it comes to gaming and storylines, and I finally relented to his wishes to get Jedi Fallen Order. I bought it, and I full on crack-headed that, and like just freaking give it to me right here. I loved every minute of that game. I didn't want it to end. I hated the ending because I didn't want it to end.
Here's the thing too about about Death Stranding, not Death Stranding, but Elden Ring taken Game of the Year. Like it's understandable. The game came out for a full year. God of War came out quite literally in September. So yeah, it's just seeing how much of a freaking like impact and like how big of a juggernaut God of War is right now. Because yeah, that game is fucking amazing. I do recommend. I mean, you can still play the game by itself, but I do recommend playing through at least God of War 2018, God of War One,
Yeah.
technically, because it's easier. It's easier to have certain syntax between like what the characters, who the characters are, and all that stuff. And so that shit was fire, bro. I love that. That's definitely my game of the year for God of War Ragnarok, man. So that I mean, there was other games too that was pretty interesting involved during that
Well,
during
speaking of
the thing.
gaming, real quick, I want to say a shout out
But
to One Click Sup Boys. What's up? He's watching us over on Twitch.
oh
Don't
man,
forget to follow us on Twitch at PS Comics I Love You and at True Voice of Reason 23.
hmm
We will be streaming on Twitch very frequently, especially the next coming weeks, as I'm sure between the two of us, there will be some video
yeah,
games acquired during the holiday season. You're never too old to get video games for Christmas. So, One Click, thank you for following us on Twitch.
how you
Don't
doing,
forget to
man?
head over there and follow us because I'm streaming FIFA. I'll be streaming Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. I'm straight up Jedi Survivor. When that comes out, I'm gonna
Are you
I might
Survivor?
pull an old school like 20 something,
Hmm.
and call out the day after the release and just
All
binge
right,
it for like 24 hours.
sure, man,
But
sure.
yeah, check
Do it,
us
man.
out.
Yeah, I've been streaming every now and then on the game. I mean, I've been playing more so like Modern Warfare 2, DMZ specifically. I mean, Modern Warfare right
I
now is just
I gotta get that. I'm
It's
such a cheapskate. I'll wait for it to
uh,
come down in price, probably when it's
well,
already like
actually,
obsolete. But
oh no, yeah, absolutely. Let's stay on this topic too, because just as of recently too, Xbox is finally gonna adopt the price raise of their games too now. So for those of y'all, man, who are listening or who are watching on YouTube and other streaming platforms, Xbox now it's been noted already that Xbox games have been about what like 59.99 still, and now they're gonna raise the
really,
prices. Yeah, like then they're gonna raise the prices now to about $70 now. So they're gonna they're gonna do the continual adopt. So with that said, I understand why they're doing that, right? They gotta it's just going with the flow. It was just the inevitable thing that was gonna happen. But saying that, to all my people who have Game Pass, that's even a better avenue for y'all to just stick on Game Pass, man. Like
yeah,
that's the best thing.
I bought. I had funny. I had Game Pass and
Mm,
didn't even know it. I had bought it because I was such a Microsoft fan back in the day.
mhm.
That's all I had. So I loved playing Flight Simulator, and there was a YouTube channel that I followed. And when I had COVID last year,
Mm.
um, I just nonstop watched this one guy's YouTube channel that makes these hilarious videos, including involving Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I really wanted to get into it. So when I saw that they added Flight Simulator about early
Yeah,
spring of last year to Game Pass, I signed up
yeah,
for it and played it on my computer. I actually even played it on my phone, um, and kind of forgot about it. I was actually paying, I was paying Game Pass
yeah.
for
This
months
guy.
and didn't even know that I had it. And then when I decided, well, I shouldn't say I decided, when my wife decided to get me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas, and then I got it early, I was looking into PlayStation Plus and signed up for it, and then went,
Yeah,
oh shit, I've still
you,
got Game Pass.
this freaking guy. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
I
definitely
was,
one of those games.
yeah, and I was really close. Amazon was running a deal. I was waiting because I was on the invite list
Hmm.
for PlayStation 5 on Amazon, and before I got mine at Target,
hmm
and they were running a deal that if you bought a digital version of the PlayStation 5,
Yeah.
they would, I think, what did they say? They would take, I can't remember if they sell it for $100 or if they took $100 off.
It's probably rebate for take it off $100.
It was maybe, I think it was $100 off. If you bought the PlayStation 5 digital,
Oh,
they would, and you bought a Xbox Series X, which is the digital for Microsoft. they would
S,
take
yeah.
$100 off the Xbox. So if you bought the two digital versions of the next gen consoles, if you bought a PS5 digital and an Xbox Series
S,
X digital
S, S.
S digital at the same time, they would take $100 off the Xbox. And so that's why I was waiting with bated breath to buy my PlayStation from Amazon, because I was going to buy the Xbox as well. I was going to buy it. I was going to have both next gen consoles, but instead, as people who follow me on social media know, that I have my PS3, PS4, and PS5 sitting right here. And once I get my garage cleaned up and I get this area next to my desk here cleaned up, there will be a PS2 and a PS1 added over here. But yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like Jared, could follow on what Jared said. It seems like a lot for paying like up to like $18 a month for a gaming pass,
for game
whether it be
streaming
PS Plus or Xbox Game Pass. If you're a diehard gamer, that's the way to go.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the stop. Like I don't have an Xbox currently. I intend to, but like just the best value in gaming right now is the Game Pass, man. It's and I'm hoping they I'm hoping they do the whole subscription thing, like you can pause your subscription, like they're doing with Netflix and doing with Amazon Prime. I feel like they could do that with with the Game Pass, and be like, for next year, man. It's looking really good for Xbox, man. There are a lot of good games coming out. I do definitely want to play. I don't think that's actually is. I'm wondering if. Damn it! What's the? There's a new game from Bethesda that's coming out next year for Xbox. Forgot what's it called, man. It's that spacefaring game. I'm all about that. That looks freaking hella fun. I definitely want to play that. I'm either gonna. Well, I'm probably gonna again. The long saying thing. I've been trying to freaking buy a PC. So get the parts for it, make a PC, and then make a tower, and then just hopefully just buy PC Game Pass and just play that game on super max settings, see how that looks, because that game looks freaking there you go, Starfield. That game looks freaking awesome. Granted, I'm hoping that Bethesda fixes this goddamn engine, because the engine is full freaking atrocious. And it chugs even like on newer gen consoles. I've been playing Fallout 4 pretty religiously now. Not religiously, but pretty often now in the last couple weeks, just with my PS5. And even on PS5, it just chugs, man. Like it's a memory RAM thing. And like I thought that was because memory and RAM were so limited in prior generations. But even PS5, it's like it runs good at times, but it also just runs horribly because how horribly developed the game is. So I'm hoping that Bethesda, now we got Microsoft money, can fix its shit and like can just make the game just run beautifully. Because the one thing that I can't take away from Bethesda, man, that when they have a vision, their vision is glorious. I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping that it's not a Fallout 76 fiasco all over again, and not they don't shoot themselves in their foot while they stumble out of the gate type of stuff, man. But yeah, Starfield looks amazing. I want to play that on max settings, man. Get a PC, and that's definitely looking like the deal, man. That game looks fucking phenomenal, man. As well as I think, hopefully there would be another rendition of Halo, possibly.
Last I had heard that they are working on it, and
for
that
Halo.
They are working on a new Halo, and
That's sad.
that it will be not exclusive to Xbox any longer.
Wait. I don't know. Not any longer. Are you sure about that? Because Halo's owned by Microsoft.
The story that I had heard is that
or is it going on PC?
No, so it's been on PC before.
Yeah.
That the story that I had heard is that bear with me. Microsoft, the studio that develops Halo, was
Bungie, owned now by Sony. Yeah,
which is owned by Sony.
Mhm.
and they had the distribution. It was distributed exclusively to Microsoft because
Mhm.
Microsoft funded Bungie up front. Bungie
Yeah.
was like floundering internet company, a video game company.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Bill Gates dumped a shit ton of money into Bungie and developed this game to be an exclusive launch day video game for their new Microsoft
Yeah.
Xbox.
Mhm.
Their delve into video games, which other than that game was a colossal failure. I did not like the Xbox version one, the original Xbox. I thought the controller was clunky. We've had this review before. I called it the football.
Just looking at
Um,
mine right now.
and the story that I've heard is that Bungie now obviously is owned by Sony, which of course
Mhm.
makes the PlayStation. And that the exclusivity for Halo has expired, and that it will be a cross-platform game. It will be not exclusive to the Xbox. It will be
I
available
don't know
for the
about that.
PlayStation and the version for the PC. There was a version made only for the PC, and it was very much in the kind of the realm of like StarCraft and the original Warcraft.
Oh,
It
you're
was
talking
a
about, yeah, it was no, that was a game for Xbox. That's Halo Wars. That's
Yeah, Halo Wars
the
was
yeah.
exclusive to the PC. Um, the new Halo 5 or Halo, whatever number they're on, would be
Mm.
a cross-platform game. And that it also is a possibility that we could see on you do have it on Game Pass, that eventually, much like GoldenEye is going to be
Mhm.
released, of course, the old Nintendo 64 game is going to be released on the Nintendo 64 emulator on Switch sometime next year, but it is also going to be available on PC, Microsoft Xbox Game Pass, and PlayStation Plus. You will actually be able to play it online on different platforms, but it will still be the old Nintendo 64 game. So the exclusivity for certain
I
games is kind of
Yeah.
so.
I will say I will kind of push back the Halo thing because like I do remember that in order for Bungie to basically to get out of the exclusivity deal, they had to sell Halo in order to Microsoft in order to for them to like basically break their agreement and like is able to move out. There has been I've been looking through reports now too where like they had like a 22-year like deal for exclusive rights type of
Yeah.
thing for Microsoft. But I don't know, man. I just feel like if Microsoft owns Halo, like they paid for Halo. I don't know that for sure. We've seen weirder things coming down the pipeline, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see like Master Chief on anything other than like Microsoft or a PC, man. To be honest with you, again, I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong.
Well,
I wouldn't have to do more research on it because
we
I
will
do
see.
see like different reports of like Microsoft had a 22-year right to for having this for Halo be an exclusive Xbox Microsoft game. But again, we've seen weirder things happen in the world of video games. Because I'm thinking that it might not have been Halo, might have been a different game because there has been exclusives before, but with different companies that was once exclusive to one publisher and then moved over, like I think Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. I think Crash Bandicoot now is owned by Activision, which is now owned by Microsoft. So here we are.
Okay,
Actually,
yes. So so I am reading that Bungie, who develops the game, is owned by
yeah,
PlayStation.
yeah,
But yes, Halo still um b- Microsoft still owns the rights to the character and the franchise.
yeah.
The next game coming out is Halo Infinite, and it is
Hmm.
still going to be an Xbox
Yeah,
Series S and X
yeah. Oh, yeah.
game. So
Infinite.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
Infinite.
I had
Yeah,
read
no
somewhere
problem.
that they were that the
Oh no,
exclusivity had
yeah.
run up.
It's just more so I don't want people coming at your throat and saying, "Hey man, fake news" type of shit, right? And so, but like, yeah, Infinite did come out. Infinite did come out last year. They fucking flandered on that fucking game because the game itself was amazing, but they like basically made no attempts to like have any DLC towards it or any type of like any type of like basic anything to make that damn game live up to this point. So right as of right now, Halo is it's not DOA or it's not dead, but damn man, it should be way more alive than it is. But yeah, just again, man, just not to call you or anything, bro. It's just more so
No,
like
I
I
just
don't want people
and
coming out
it's
of
fine.
throats.
I went and looked
Yeah.
and double checked because I you hear things and it
Mm,
wasn't necessarily a fake news deal. I mean,
mm,
I watch different
mm.
videos on YouTube and stuff like that from reputable sources. We YouTubers watch YouTubers, and um,
What?
with a lot of games being
Don't tell people our secrets, man. What? No.
well, you gotta. It's that day and age now. You can't. I mean, I get it. Like there's such kind of uh, a fanboy war between Team Xbox or Team PlayStation.
Mm,
That these developers have to make exclusive, but it's you can't expect people to own both systems. You can't
mm.
expect them to choose one or the other,
Yeah.
per se. And there are people that are just always going to be Xbox guys. There's going to be guys that are always PlayStation guys. So,
Mm,
back
yeah.
in the day, Xbox, I liked having the Xbox because you had games like Halo that were exclusive, games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or just call it the whole Call of Duty franchise. The DLCs, which back in the day
Mm.
were fucking free, um, would come to
Yep.
Microsoft first
First. Mm-hmm.
because you paid for Xbox Live, which I was okay with doing. I was okay with subscribing to Xbox Live because you got stuff like that. You got a smoother online experience because they actually put fucking money into their servers and what and their sort and their service.
Mm,
Whereas PlayStation, why are you going to pay that much money to go play video games online when you can do it for free over here? But it would
mm-hmm.
crash. It was laggy. I can remember as early as like 2002, 2003, trying to get online on PlayStation Online, and it sucked. It was never good. I remember buying the online adapter for my PS2 and could never get it to work.
Yeah. I
So
mean, yeah. Granted, like, yeah, a lot of the I don't know, just a lot like early gaming, right? That was anything outside of PC, just for online gaming, sucked. It was
yeah.
fucking horrendous. I remember that shit, dude. Yeah, actually, going on to just staying a little point too on Xbox, man. What do you think? What you see that trade deal possibly being nixed by the FTC?
Which one was this?
Oh, there was the FTC. I think they put either a lawsuit or they're trying to break up the deal that Microsoft to buy Activision now. You saw that? You saw that one?
I did not see that. That has
Oh,
not come across my desk.
that's crazy.
Um,
Just a little thought process on like, damn man, they might break that up, the FTC, because I think their FTC I think ruled a couple maybe a week ago or so by saying that yeah they might either they might try to break that up or they're trying to sue Microsoft or something like that.
yeah. So as of 3 days ago, the FTC, this is according to CNN, The Verge, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal,
Mm-hmm.
Federal Trade Commission is suing Microsoft to block its Activision Blizzard purchase.
Crazy.
So which
I don't know how I feel about that.
I part of me goes, let them,
Mm-hmm.
let them. I'm also hearing rumors that, though Bob Iger has adamantly said he is not going to make any deals while he's CEO of Disney, but there is talk that in light of, and it could be maybe a backdoor deal, is that obviously the lawsuit between Apple and Epic Games continues to rage on with no in-game in sight.
Yep.
And there's now talk that Disney, to bolster Disney Interactive, could purchase Epic Games
Yep.
to bolster their online their video game department.
Yeah, man.
Also, it would bring the lawsuit between Apple and Epic Games to an end because, unbeknown for those who don't know, Apple's former CEO, Steve Jobs, of course, who passed away more than 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, his widow, is a sitting member on the Disney board of directors, and it has been a long-standing. It's long been known that Apple and Disney kind of play well with one another, despite the
Mm-hmm.
fact that Apple was rumored to be buying Disney
Yeah,
up to
a
about
while
a couple
ago.
months ago. So,
Yeah,
well, that actually said that rumors come up multiple times. But anyways,
yeah. It's interesting.
um,
It's
yeah,
interesting
so
thought process.
it'll be interesting to follow that. Well, of course, we'll have stuff posted on PS
Mm-hmm.
Comics I Love You on Facebook or Talking Tech on Facebook if you want to follow that
Yeah.
that website. So
But other than that,
moving on,
yeah,
yeah. Other than that, talking
yeah.
about deals, we thought maybe it would be a good deal, Warner Brothers and Discovery merging more than a year ago. Of course, with most of Discovery's executive committee taking over Warner Brothers. And of course, they have systematically dismantled a lot of content on HBO Max to the point now it may not even be called HBO Max. We might just call it Max.
Hmm.
That's what it might be called. It might be called Max or Warner Brothers Discovery Max. Or
Yeah.
I kind of like, but just from a marketing standpoint, I like HBO Max because for those who
Yep.
don't know why it's called HBO Max, look at the logo. It's called that because HBO, which was owned by Warner Brothers, owned both HBO and Cinemax, and they combined the two different streaming services because at one point HBO Now was a service, and Cinemax had a service also um, that was tied in with like your cable bill or your cable
Yeah.
subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and so they merged it. That's why it's called HBO Max. And sometime next year, it'll be HBO Max, and Discovery Plus will be all rolled into one app. And they're trying to possibly change the name, but what they're also trying to do is change the DC universe. And of course, they hired James Gunn as one of the co-CEOs of the of DC Films, the film
Mm-hmm.
division of DC Comics, the distinguished competition, as Marvel fanboys will call it. And it has been a crazy week, JR, because we are seeing the dying days of the quote unquote Snyderverse, aka the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe,
Yep.
coming to its tumultuous end.
Yeah.
It was announced, this, of course, to deadline.com. Of course, Patty Jenkins' third foray into Wonder Woman has been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman, beyond the next film, the sequel, which is due out sometime in 2023, I believe.
Yeah.
There will be despite it could make $1 trillion, not making a third one.
Yeah.
And it's talking that Jason Momoa, who, if you really think about it, made a better version of Lobo than he did Aquaman, is going to be playing Lobo in James Gunn's new DCU.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Cavill, who, by the way, still is the best Superman choice, his Man of Steel sequel is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The only two people who can't come to grips with this implosion of the DCEU are Henry Cavill and Dwayne Johnson. Of course, I'm talking about Superman and Black Adam, respectfully. The Black Adam, for all intents and purposes, has been considered to be a flop.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwayne Johnson has come out and said that he knows nothing of a quote unquote reboot to the DC universe. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Shout out to Henry Cavill, man. I feel bad for the guy.
I do.
I feel because like one, you have Henry Cavill has been in such a tumultuous last couple of years where like he goes to he stops being Superman. One, he goes to a franchise where he is lobbied to play the part of Geralt, the Witcher, and he does a phenomenal first season, in my opinion. And then second season is fucking off rail because it's fucking Netflix. Netflix is a atrocious piece of shit company that wants to destroy all your beloved things you loved in your childhood, right? Every fucking thing. And so they destroyed with season 2. he's out for season 3. Or no, he's out for season 3. He's done with it. And now he goes back to DC, only to come up with stuff like he might not play Superman for a possible foreseeable future, man. And I feel bad for the guy, man. Like as much what's the word looking for? I wasn't really a fan of Man of Steel 1. It was okay. It was much better than obviously Justice League, obviously Batman vs Superman. But I felt like, okay, for me, Man of Steel 1 felt a lot much more in the vein of let's say what's called A Force Awakens. Cool. We got who we got, and it looks like they could build more. And what we got was shit, basically, in my opinion, because of just, again, the thing of Zack Snyder always constantly fucking trying to juggle 8 stories in one goddamn movie. That's why it takes him fucking 2. That's why it takes some 2 hours of the 4-hour slot to make a fucking point, and have all these beautiful painting like cinematic scenes, out there, and just having, it feels like his story is like, oh, you just want to get from one scene to one scene. I've said this before many fucking times, and like, you got the wrong guy to basically head up your universe originally, and now Henry Cavill's back with the new hands of James Gunn and possibly other developers in this DCU, and it just looks like it's shit. And from what I hear, though, from what I'm reading, it's not those guys' fault. It's just more so the execs, the heads of the company, just not knowing what the fuck to do with these characters, man. It sucks. They got the guy. They got their Kevin Feige, and they're not really doing much. They're still going with the same same tropes and bullshit. Like, the reason why Patty Jenkins left is because she gave you saw that, did you see the treatment that she put out? She put out Wonder Woman 3 treatment. She gave it to the executives. They said, what the hell is this? What is this thing called? What, this makes no sense, whatever. And like, she then like gave back an email saying that she's done with this series, and I think she she also sent a link to a Wikipedia page called Story Arc to one of the execs, and saying, yeah, it's all about the story arc of the character. You guys didn't see that. All you guys care about is money, type of stuff, man. Granted, again, Wonder Woman was in 1984 was pretty freaking bad. It was very,
and yet I liked it. I liked it better than the original.
It was, to me, dude, it felt very preachy, super fucking preachy, man. It's like
the problem. And it's funny, as I was reading an article and trying to find more about the story, and I come across that Patty Jenkins is become increasingly difficult to work with. And it's no secret that well, I should say it's not a secret, but it's a little known fact that she actually was the original director for Thor: The Dark World, and she butted heads with Marvel Studios. And she didn't want to play nice. She wanted to do her own thing, which is fine. But when you're at that point with Thor: The Dark World, you're now already part of the way through phase 1. You're on your way towards this grandiose event of the Avenger franchise. Now, obviously, Thor: The Dark World came out after Avengers 1.
Yeah.
But you've got this great thing going, and you don't buck the system. I mean, shoot, you look at Chloe Zhao. Chloe Zhao won a freaking Academy Award, and she's like, but I want to do a Marvel film. I can tell these stories. And she went into the Eternals, and she brought her own flair to it. Maybe it wasn't a well thought out script, and that doesn't fall on her. She did the best she could with the script that she had and the character development that she had with the Eternals. But here's an Academy Award winning, literally had just won the Academy Award, and she's still willing to go, The only one
Like,
I feel bad about was the guy who wanted to do the original Ant-Man.
oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. I
but he
forgot his
wanted to
name.
do a standalone, not even connected.
Yeah,
But you got to understand too is I feel bad for him, but at the same time is what you're getting yourself into.
yeah,
That's after the first three films, after Iron Man 1, after Incredible Hulk,
yeah.
Iron Man 2,
Mm-hmm,
Captain America, and Thor. So like, okay, the first five movies, you know what you're getting yourself into. And these are Avenger films, and so you can't sit there and expect that you're going to be making the Godfather of Wonder Woman movies. You can't sit there and think you're going to make the next Shaun of the Dead with
yeah,
Ant-Man.
yeah.
No, you're making a story arc.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like with Patty Jenkins that's she just very much wants to do her own thing
Yeah.
and not play well with others, and that's why she
I
lost Thor: The Dark World. She
I
then
can't.
lost.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I say sorry. She lost Rogue Squadron. Everyone talks about how it must have been what's her name at Lucasfilms that
Mm-hmm.
dropped the ball on that. No, it was Patty Jenkins, and now you're seeing that she wants to take her ball and go home with Wonder Woman. But it does sound like though that
Yeah.
she
I
is
go ahead.
open to returning under certain, but again,
I,
under certain circumstances.
I will say this. I will say this about Patty Jenkins. This whole, I'm kind of buck. For me personally, I don't like this whole trend of like you're incompatible to work with, right? In Hollywood, because fucking
Yeah.
we've gone through a whole fucking Me Too with Me Too, era of people of exactly saying that, oh, you're hard to work with, but then what it really is that some other shit going behind the scenes. I think that was also currently too with another actor. I forgot who, but like it was an actor who said that like, oh, like I was called difficult to work with. And all I really wanted was to basically just like I stood my ground because this a certain scene was racist or a certain thing. But going back, that's beside the point. Going back to Patty Jenkins, I will give her more so benefit of doubt because one, and this quite honestly, up to this point when it was the original like I guess trio of Aquaman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. That's the movies they put out. And Shazam, sure, we could put that. You could put him as Max. He would put his hat into the mix. Patty Jenkins was probably the best director out of anything that came out of DC at that point, right? Before Wonder Woman 2 came out, right? So it was in that time frame. Like she just won an award. She was put it as like this like awesome visual director who can really make women cinematic, all that stuff, right? Cool. I give her more so the benefit of the doubt because like now it's like what do you like? I give her the person who's trying to make something positive out of this shit can of a fucking series of universe you have now, where she's trying more so bring more light into the conversation rather than all this dark, gloomy shit that we constantly see in Zack Snyder films. But then, of course, we got Aquaman. We got fucking Aquaman in a desert to fucking Pitbull, so that really that really alleviated a lot of things too. But that's beside the point as well. Just I gave Patty Jenkins up to that point a lot more leniency because, like, yeah, that was my thought process too. Like, dude, just give her the fuck whatever the fuck she wants because she's the best thing going for y'all right now. Wonder Woman at the time was one of the only things saving the DC universe. No one wanted to freaking see Shazam. Like no one really wanted after Batman versus Superman. Really, do you want people want to see that piece of polished shit again? Really? Another fucking 3-hour slog fest of some horrendous tropes of like, oh, what is good, what is bad? Because and like you have Superman being fucking New 52 Superman who was dark and moody all the goddamn time, bro. That's not Superman. And again, it's like the best thing from DC at that point was Wonder Woman. Like before Aquaman was Wonder Woman. And now understanding I could kind of feel for Patty Jenkins now because like one, she's not the best director of DC anymore. Joker came out. The Joker's here, right? The best film, the Batman is here. Matt Reeves is the best director on DC right now.
Yeah.
And they should give him whatever the fuck he wants. He should make whatever the hell he wants. because Matt Reeves is the best director on that is currently running DC or currently in the sphere of DCEU. So like now, damn, it just sucks because like I will be way more on Pat Jenkins' side if Wonder Woman 2 didn't come out. As well as like I'm harkening back also to those conversations where where Gal Gadot said that she's more so willing to come back if the stories are a lot more serious, because again, for me, Wonder Woman 2 felt very tropey, felt very much of like
Yeah.
1980s type of like trope bullshit. And I get it, it was a period piece, man, but like even to that point, it's like Gal Gadot was kind of over it, and I'll more so be akin to like the workers, to the actors and actresses on set than like the executive heads. But damn, man, it's like
But my
I
question
want to,
too is
but
with Wonder Woman, like
mhm,
what I mean, what's really tough um compared to Marvel, where they're all kind of different.
mhm,
You have let's just look at what's coming up. You
mhm,
have Ant-Man, who has no superhero. Has no superpowers.
yep,
He has a suit
mhm,
that he's allowed to shrink down and um, harness the power of a
yep,
160-pound man while
mhm,
being this tall. You look at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Peter Quill is a human. And people go, like, oh, he's not. He's a god. No, remember, if you go back to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, he
he's
killed
part.
his father, and therefore he's no longer a god. So he really has no superhero, but it's about the character development,
Mhm.
whereas there is no character development in any of the DC films.
There
Because
wasn't. Go
there
finish your
was,
thought.
but there wasn't. Because
Finish your
the
thought.
problem is that the DC, it just seemed like they tried to tell the same story we've heard a million times. And
Mhm,
the powers, with the exception of the Flash, really, and think about it. Think about the presentation of the core characters of the DCEU.
mhm,
Look at Captain Marvel, Shazam, uh, Superman, Batman. Oh, Batman's human. I can get that. Okay, so
yeah,
Superman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Black Adam, even Aquaman,
mhm,
superhuman strength, impervious to pain, bulletproof, blah blah blah. It's the same thing over and over again. With Flash being the lone exception, is he runs really fast, but then of course we saw him battle Superman
yeah,
as top speedster, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
But even then, they made Batman almost seem kind of
yeah.
invincible.
Mhm,
Whereas Marvel dared to tell a great story. James Gunn, okay, they told a great story. They were willing to sacrifice the golden goose and kill Iron Man, the guy who can be killed. He's a human. He has no superpowers. He's not Thor. He's not.
I, but here's the thing that this is the same conversation we've had for the upteen fucking time, because it's one, the worst thing that DC did was give the keys to Zack Snyder, considering the fact, like we've said before, the reason why we didn't have any semblance of a fucking story arc for any of these characters, right? Other than like when they go their own solo films, is because the dude always tries to fit like 3 to 4 stories in one movie
Yep.
every fucking time. Why did we have in a movie of Batman versus Superman 3 other characters, four
Here,
other characters? Why did we have that? It was supposed to be a movie about Batman versus Superman. What is the constant need to bring in Wonder Woman? What was the constant need to bring in Aquaman, and a fucking cyborg debut? It's somewhat to fucking tease of Justice League, which will happen next year, the year after that. It's or 2 years after that. It's this weird dichotomy of like, bro, like
you
what should have
tried to. I
happened?
mean, you
It,
tried to combine
yeah,
three
that's
different
yeah.
storylines
In one freaking
into
movie, dude. It's the
into one
same.
movie.
It's the same bullshit of like just. I understand that everyone has been trying to catch Marvel for the longest time, and
Yep.
people has tried to use that try and do formula of like, oh, we need a universe. So instead of like you rooting for one character, right, one character and building a story around that, no, we got to put like 5 characters that you kind of semi know and make you feel like you fell in love with them one time, and we'll have the big old fucking Justice League movie, and then we'll sell all the toys. It's like, bro, like the WB execs, as well as every fucking executive in Hollywood, is so confounded to like just like wanting to make the Marvel money, wanting to make the MCU money, that they understand that like the reason why people love the MCU money, or the reason why MCU has that money, is because their people are
They're
so
invested in it.
enthralled, invested in the characters for up to that point, like 5-10 years, man.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that always pissed me off. Like when people consistently say that, oh, Zack Snyder's the greatest thing to happen to DC. Like, really? He's the worst thing to happen to DC, because of the simple fact that they gave him like 5 to 6 things to do in one movie. Like, bro, I will always fucking say this, dude. I was so excited to see a Ben Affleck Batman, and then
And I thought he was great.
and then the fucking scene where him as a kid, right, gets enthralled like a circle of bats, and somehow he levitates in the fucking air. And oh, it's this whole stupid Zack Snyder effect again of him trying to have this biblical proportion bullshit, which he's been putting in his movies for the last 20 fucking years. Like all his movie characters now are Jesus or some bullshit. You think I'm lying? Check out
No,
Man of
you're
Steel.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He's always had a Jesus complex with his characters.
It's always freaking it does it, and that's the thing that took me out of the movie, man. Like, bro, like you had one thing to show a better, grittier version of Nolan's Batman. That's all you had to do. All you had to do. You were riding off the high of the dark trilogies, the Batman trilogies, right, from Nolan. You got the okay from Nolan to use this Batman, and what do? You make him some weird freaking dude who floats in the air as a child and think, oh no, that was a dream though. Bro, that was in the first 10 minutes. You know how beautiful that scene was of him recalling the memory of his father and his mother passing away? That awesome pearl necklace scene where like his mom's pearl necklace on the gun. That's a beautiful fucking scene. Probably the best version of that scene of all time. And you give me some bullshit of him raising into the heavens from bats? Really, dude? Like, you gave this guy who was an amazing art director content outside of his own ideas. The worst thing, like I've said before, Zack Snyder, when he does his own shit, probably one of the best directors. He is the Brian Michael Bendis of movies. He's when he does his own shit, amazing. I'm talking about even though 300 was of course adapting something else, good. Sucker Punch was alright. Freaking was it Den of Thieves or the zombie movie that you made for Netflix? Great.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Watchmen, artistically great. As the movie and story was meh, was super mid. Like Man of Steel, you just couldn't, you really couldn't get away from like all that destruction. Yeah,
he couldn't stick the landing, and
yeah,
it brought Superman to you had the original Superman movie was groundbreaking.
When you pin
with Richard Donner, I'm talking about the Richard Donner movies.
Yeah,
the Bryan Singer Superman Returns was they enticed him to come over and leave X-Men and come over and make the Superman movie because it's fucking Superman. Superman, X-Men, Superman, X-Men. And then they give him the script and like, oh, basically I'm doing a bookend to the Richard Donner films, which Superman Returns in that light was okay. The cast was okay. I felt bad for the guy who played Superman, Brandon Routh, because he's basically playing Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen a Superman other than Smallville. We hadn't seen a Superman in the modern era. or I should say, we hadn't seen a modern Superman in the modern era.
Yeah.
And when Man of Steel came out, obviously post Iron Man, we were in a whole new era. And we saw how they did Superman, they did superhero films with the Dark Knight trilogy. At that point, we had just seen, I think we had only seen Batman and I'm sorry, we had only seen Batman Begins and Dark Knight.
Mhm.
We had seen what they can do. So I was intrigued by Man of Steel. I liked
Yeah.
where they were going,
It was
and they just
like,
again just couldn't stick the landing.
again, like I will always say, man, this the Snyder effect is always this. The second he pitied his scene, or like juxtaposition of Clark in the church talking to a pastor, right? And then when he talks about saving lives and trying to come of age, being the age of 33, and if those from my religious buffs who knows, Jesus started his church at the age of 33, and the second he was after the second the pastor asked him a question about saving lives and being who you wanted to be. What do you get? You see in the foreground Clark Kent or Superman, in the background Jesus in the pane glass window. That's an obvious indication of saying that, oh yeah, your guy, Superman, he's now Space Jesus. Granted, he has always been Space Jesus to a certain extent, but now because of like the history of Zack Snyder and what he's always constantly done, which is basically put his religion out so many goddamn times in films, not a bad thing, but obviously it's like it's so on the nose with Superman, where it just takes away from the inevitable thought of like, bro, like, what are you doing? You're trying to put your guy to be this all good, we'll save everyone thing, right? We'll save everyone everything. We'll take on the sins of the world and we'll always be the good guy. And then you fucking clash that with the bullshit you did with Batman vs Superman, where you have him be this angsty, new 52 Superman, where he's so like frustrated and begrudged by people questioning his authority, questioning his goodness. Like, bro, what are you doing? Couple that also with the fucking sheer fact that he tried to fit in 4 different storylines in one
Yeah,
movie.
that just bugged the shit out of me. And it just
Going,
it sucks is
yeah,
because we'll never probably get
going
a
back to
true Death of Superman
but
movie.
yeah, going back to like to James Gunn and hopefully trying to write this shit, man. And like you said before, he posted out tweets about like he posted out tweets about the possible like leak that's happened or the expose of what's going down in Warner Bros. The Patty Jenkins leaving, Jason Momoa, not being Aquaman, which I feel like would be horrible if he isn't Aquaman anymore per se. That's my own personal preference. But that he has stated to say like it's a 10-year thing, 10 years, 10-year timeline, making it slow. All the current slate of movies right now, we're gonna see them end, and we're gonna see what's gonna come up afterwards. And so, like, I'm hoping they still stick with like Joker. Joker 2 is gonna come out. I'm still hoping they stick with like a Batman series. I'm hoping they stick with someone with Shazam. What's the Rock gonna look into it now? Like, what version of Superman? What version of Wonder Woman are we gonna get? What the fuck's gonna do with the Flash? Is Ezra Miller still gonna be our Flash? That fucking guy? Is he gonna be Flash still, bro?
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't think so, but I think they can't not bench that movie. It needs to be seen.
They put too much movie.
Maybe
They
if it,
put too
maybe if
much
it just
money into
maybe just
it.
go straight to. I mean, at this point, they're losing so much money on these different movies. I mean, do you take the gamble of putting it out in the theater, or do you just say fuck it and put it on HBO Max and hope for the best?
That's what they should have done. That's what they should have done with fucking Batgirl, bro.
I agree.
That's like the
I
Batgirl.
agree.
Like they put like what $90 million in that one movie, and like that was also a movie with Brendan Fraser, who's gonna be Firefly, which I props to Brendan Fraser. Fucking love that guy. And like I don't know, that's like again, I just keep on looking at the fact that like even though you have a lot of shit to Zack Snyder, a lot of this still falls heavily on like on the production, on like the people behind the scenes, man, the execs, all this shit, bro. All they're doing is this. We want to make Disney money. You want to make MCU money. When honestly, like you gotta just wait and like make people excited to want to see your movies again.
Yeah.
Period. Because we still have this clash of like Snyder fans that thinks anything that Snyder touches is like God's gift to the world. When really, like, bro, everything he's done up to this point is pretty fucking mid. Really.
Yeah.
Other than like the zombie movie, which is great, which is fun, which is just mindless fun, and like the original 300, which was decent, was really good for its time, which was revolutionary for its time back in 2005. So it's just crazy, man. It's like, what will James Gunn do now? People called his foray into making DC films with his version of Suicide Squad like, oh, that was a flop. Well, yeah, it was a flop because it didn't release in movies. It was released on HBO Max. And honestly, that movie was probably one of the better movies that came out that year. And that included what was that included Black Widow. That included another Marvel film. Too. It was like, bro, that's what happens when you have directors who love the material, a production company that loves material, is willing to do just basically go balls out. He fucking John Cena is great as Peacemaker. That was one of the crazier things I didn't see coming. So I'm hoping that James Gunn puts his foot down on a lot of things. We'll definitely have an imprint and say a full plan on saying what needs to be done. How do we rehabilitate the image of DC? What's going on moving forward? How does it feel like to how should we as fans be excited for what's coming down the pipeline? And how to basically kind of not rehabilitate fans, but more so just like show, like, you have fans be excited about the movies and not more so like the people helming the movies. Because again, I see a lot of these posts online and people on boards and whatever. They're all Zack Snyder fans, man. Nothing wrong with that. At the same time, it's like, yo, that's just a small snippet of DC fans in general. I just want to see a good movie. I want to see a good DC movie for once. That's outside of Joker. Yeah. But that's me ranting. Your thoughts, my dude?
No, it needs to be done, and I hope that it's done in a way, since we now know of the multiverse, that you don't insult the audience's attention. And if you're going to kind of implode it and go away from the DCEU, have it just be there, and then just be done with it, and then kind of reboot. And Zack Snyder has come out and said that Superman is a top priority. He's a pillar. He is the original.
Zack Snyder or James Gunn?
I'm sorry, James Gunn. James Gunn has come out and said that Superman is a priority in this new venture. But we all know that James Gunn likes to live on the fringe. He likes the bit characters. He loves the Suicide Squads. He loves the Guardians of the Galaxies. Two names we didn't know 10, 15, 20 years ago, as we do, Iron Man, Captain America, the Avengers, the Justice League and stuff like that. So, what would be kind of cool is if he would have gotten his hands on a character like Shazam, or aka Captain Marvel or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm curious, but I said just don't insult the fans' intelligence, and just say, like, don't look over there, don't look over there. We got something brand new over here. And I think that him making the Suicide Squad and making Peacemaker the way he did, he's not. He is wink acknowledging what exists out there. Obviously, spoiler alert, with the existence of both Ezra Miller's Flash and Jason Momoa's Aquaman existing in the Peacemaker / Suicide Squad universe. We know that exists in the overarching DCEU. So, my biggest thing, and I'll finish off on this, is just don't insult the audience intelligence. And if you're going to reboot, don't just do like a hard reboot that doesn't exist anymore. No, let it exist. Let it just kind of float away. Let it be a multiverse, kind of like the Arrowverse is. Like, and you know what? And then acknowledge that if you're going to do something fun, because there was talks about them doing an Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was going to be the next big event.
Yeah,
and it was going to correct the timeline, much like what we're going to get with Secret Wars. in a couple of years is that we're going to see timelines merge together, post Kang War and post Secret War.
Yeah.
Is we're going to see new characters kind of merge together, a la the current comic book universe. So that's all I have to say about it.
Hmm.
Let us know in the comments below what you think about it. Let us know in the comments on any of our audio versions of this podcast what you think about it. And by the way, as this airs, I still don't have last week's episode posted for audio. I should be able to get last week's
Inshallah.
and this week's up. If you haven't seen last week's episode, it is available on our YouTube channels, archived. It's also available on the archive on our Twitch channel and on our Facebook
Hmm.
watch.
I will say this to somewhat end off on a much more lighter note.
Yep.
If it was your choice, who would you have direct a Wonder Woman movie, Wonder Woman 3, or just maybe a new slate of movies for Wonder Woman, and who would you have direct the new Man of Steel movie?
If budget wasn't an issue, if I could have whoever I wanted,
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down Christopher Nolan to do Man of Steel.
Okay.
Like he was supposed to.
Mm.
And
Let's get
the only
pick.
guy the only thing I tell him is, Chris, this now exists in this universe. It does not in the Nolan verse.
Mm.
Or it could. And maybe you go that direction and you get New 52 Batman, or you get no, or is it not New 52 what do they call it? The worn out Batman. The Batman that Kevin Conroy played.
Oh yeah. That's from Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come. Maybe you have Christian Bale play Kingdom Come Batman. Yeah. Hands down, I can think of nobody else out there off the top of my head that's a household name that has done a superhero film that could tackle Superman and potentially get it right.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman has to be told by a woman. Absolutely has to be told by a woman. And I thought that Patty Jenkins did a good job. I think that there were too much. I think you had Zack Snyder hanging over Wonder Woman, the original film, too much. Then you turn around and you gave her too much leeway with 1984.
Yeah.
There's too much creative juices flowing in 84. You need a woman to direct that. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that could tackle a motion picture at that level. Chloe Zhao jumps out at me, but I just think that she may not be the right fit for that thing. I think that she needs a grittier. You know what? Maybe Chloe, because I liked what she did with the Eternals. She had to make them this spectacular team, but then there was a grittiness, there was a groundedness to the Eternals that she did pretty good. That she was doing. So maybe you let a Chloe Zhao do it, or oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. She was one of the directors for Mandalorian season 1.
Talking about Bryce Dallas Howard?
No, well, I was gonna say Bryce Dallas Howard, but I think she does better on the other woman who did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name.
I know what you're talking about. She's an Asian director too. Yeah.
Yes,
I remember her. Yeah.
Wasn't she the one that did
no
Book of Boba Fett?
No. Oh, I don't remember. I gotta check.
Oh, but no, you know who? No.
Oh.
The woman who did Falcon the Winter Soldier.
I was gonna say her. That would have been a good pick.
The woman, I apologize for not knowing her name. But no, the woman who did Falcon the Winter Soldier. The Chloe Zhao would be on my short list. The Asian director, and I really apologize for not getting her name right, because I really think I really liked her work. I thought about Bryce Dallas Howard, but I think maybe it might be too much for her. But no, the woman who did that did Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Other characters, Batman, I think you've got Matt Reeves. I think you've got your guy. Um, Flash, you know, we haven't seen what this director can do,
Yeah.
but a recast of the character is needed.
Yeah.
Aquaman,
That's
I think that was it who's it that not Ang Lee, it's John
it's
Woo?
James
No.
Wan. James Wan.
James Wan. I think he did a pretty decent job with the character.
Yeah.
I think that
Mhm.
it needs to be a different character, a different actor. You have to go, and I get it. You don't want to whitewash it because Arthur Curry in the comic books is a blonde hair, blue eyed white person, and
Mhm.
God forbid that we cast someone like that looks like that anymore.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yes, that was said both sarcastically and really. That's why I said I wasn't completely against um the James the Jason Momoa casting because it was different, but at the same time it was like you kind of made a character who's a complete push. He sucks.
Yeah.
Aquaman sucks, and you have an actor who doesn't suck play him. So, but uh, James Gunn's fan cast of Jason Momoa as Lobo, absolutely perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect, but at the same time, it's like I look at Lobo the character, and like I don't know. It's yeah, some people are gonna there's gonna be people that say that, oh, that's right up Jason Momoa's alley, man. But I feel like Jason Momoa is a lot more rounded as an actor. So just basically play like a dude that's like, just fucking yeah, he's the greatest fucking merc of all time, man. But like it's I don't know. I just feel like he could
Yeah.
there's a lot more you could tell with Jason Momoa, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I would feel though for you, just to kind of just say who I would want for a Superman movie. No budget. Oh no, budget is not is not a detriment. Put all the money you fucking have and throw at the Russo brothers. You want to knock them out of the park, even if they just do one fucking movie. Throw at the Russos, both of them.
oh, yeah, you're getting both.
You're gonna get both.
Um,
Like throw it at the Russos, like because you talk about action movies.
yeah.
It's hard to top the Russos right now. Or you go crazy and you get the guy that made John Wick, the John Wick series. If you want to do that, but granted, like how's that gonna translate? How is
You
physical
got to
action gonna
find the
translate
right
into?
character.
That's what I'm saying.
Find the right character.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like if you threw John Wick, the director for John, I forget his name. He's an awesome director. If you threw him into the world of DC, I would rather have him take on possibly if he
Constantine.
did it. Constantine, yes. I would also love a solo outing of Rorschach. That'd be a great movie.
Oh shit, him
Rorschach.
do fucking Watchmen would be badass.
That'd be awesome. I'm just thinking about like just him doing Rorschach. That'd be fucking crazy. Just that alone would be awesome to see.
And what was the other one? You said John Wick, and then made me start thinking of someone. Oh, I was thinking of Ryan Johnson,
Oh,
who did
Knives Out,
Knives Out.
and Jedi,
Is
and as well as fucking Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, but you gotta find the right movie. Matt Reeves doing the Batman was the right movie because
Hmm.
because Batman can be done that way. You can the toughest thing about Christopher Nolan doing a Superman movie is here's a guy that has to fly.
Yeah,
Okay, he has to defy reality. Whereas he made Batman, he made Bruce Wayne, he made you believe that a billionaire dressed as a bat would jump off a building in downtown Tokyo.
yeah,
Um, but that's what I just absolutely love about Batman Returns or Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, as opposed to Dark Knight
yeah,
Rises was okay.
yeah,
But Dark Knight and Batman Begins are two perfect tens.
yeah.
Because even the most ridiculousness of both films, you go
Yeah,
the
everything
right
was
amount of money.
grounded.
Yeah, I believe it. I
Everything was
believe it. With
grounded.
the right amount of
Yeah,
money, a billionaire could jump off a building and could do
yeah,
this. So
yeah.
that would
And
be the only downside. So yeah,
yeah,
maybe the Russos do
Russo's
Superman.
Russo's Superman, and also to throw my hat in the ring, for who can direct Wonder Woman, Francis Coppola. No, not Sofia Coppola.
So Sophia Coppola,
Yeah,
yeah, not a bad choice. Because
she
the
is
thing about it
not.
too is Wonder
Yeah,
Woman is a grounded character.
yeah.
She doesn't need to fly.
Mm,
You can tell a story that doesn't need to be
yeah,
superhero. And I think that's one of the things I like about Patty Jenkins is I love the little backstories
yeah.
with the Amazonians.
Yeah. Well, I
So
think
anyways,
I felt like, yeah, still the one of the worst things that happened for Wonder Woman 2 was the fact there was no character arc involved in that movie.
yeah,
But so that's
it was
Sophie can
very
do that.
much all over the place.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section below what your fan casting would be for directing for the reboot of the DC universe, now known as the DCU, as opposed to the DCEU, which, by the way, never really officially known as. That was actually they said this. Someone did it, brought it up in like an interview or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Snyderverse or the up until now, DC movies are known as the DCEU, and anything going forward with James Gunn at the helm is going to be known as the
Mhm.
DCU. So that's what we will refer to as. Real quick, wrap up with a little flex pull. That's right. We'll bring it back real quick. I'll just run through these. Shout out to actually I don't want to give his name, but there's a gentleman who is actually selling his comic book collection through Comic Asylum. Ran into some issues. Don't know the whole story. Not my business to know or say what it is, but
Mhm.
just as a fellow Asylum
Oh,
um,
real life
attendee,
issues.
we all
I
have
thought you
issues.
meant, yeah.
My well wishes go out to this guy. But nonetheless, I did help him out by buying some of his collection. I feel bad that the
Mm,
guy has to sell his collection, but if I don't want him to just dangle out there, and I wanted to give him top dollar, and so these are some of the books that I bought from this gentleman. Bam, cornerstone book to
really?
my collection right there. Not the Virgin variant, which is
Yeah.
extremely rare of this
Mhm.
cover. Of course, Peach Momoko did a cover with this is a cover swap of the Miss Marvel
Mm.
book, one of Peach Momoko's original.
Oh no, that not Miss Marvel. That was the Spider Gwen. Spider Gwen was the original.
You're right. I apologize. I was right. Um, and the I apologize. I don't know the guy's name, but again, if someone were to say it, I go like, oh yeah, that's it. But I still don't want to call him out on air because, like I said, just going some.
Mm,
He's friends with some people that do business near the asylum.
mm,
Another Peach
mm.
Momoko scored this one. Just I love her artwork. I know people say like, oh my gosh, I'm over her. She's oversaturated. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And I
because
still
she's
hear
fucking
people that
popular.
want to bitch and shit on her because of what happened at New York Comic Con. It had nothing
Fuck
to do with
them.
her. It had to do
Yeah.
with people like Whatnot and freaking online resellers that were basically getting in the way of real fans.
Mm.
Um, this is a version cover I got for a pretty decent deal. Another Peach Momoko, Batgirl. I had to get it because it was a version. Plus, it's a great. It kind of reminded me a little bit of just kind of took me back to Middleton's legendary run of Batgirl back
Mm.
in like 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
Uh,
2018,
Fear,
2018.
you're gonna have to help me out with this artist. I like this cover because it took me back to the Batman the animated series.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know
so
whose
fucking
signature that
fire.
is.
Uh, I forgot to check it. Yeah, that just
I don't know,
what
but
issues that? What issues that?
it is Harley Quinn 30th anniversary special.
Okay, let me check real quick.
And scored some Campbell signatures. I didn't have these ones, I don't believe. Magneto, This was X-Men Black Magneto #1, a Virgin variant signed by J. Scott Campbell.
Oh, yeah, you can get those in the
on the
blind
online
box now.
store.
Yeah.
And then this one, not real good on the. It didn't kind of stick the landing with the legs, calf muscle, and the right foot's a little wonky. But this is X-Men Black Mystique #1 Virgin variant signed by J. Scott Campbell. Mystique, along with another character coming up here, one of my favorite X-Men characters. Then of course this was the J. Scott Campbell variant. This is a half and half sketch, half black and white variant of the Alice cover from a couple of months ago. I did score another Berserker #1.
Just real quick, sorry to cut you off. Fucking
ahead.
Bruce Timm.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, like, oh, that looks like Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm, like, oh, that really looks like fucking, like, oh, I like Animated Adventures, man. This looks a lot like Bruce Timm. It's fucking Bruce Timm.
Daredevil cover, Peach Momoko. Speaking of Joshua Middleton, bro, Poison Ivy. His run on Poison Ivy has been killer.
Bro, his recent work has been fucking top notch, man. Like, he's always been great, man. But like, Jesus, dude, he like leveled up with that digital art, bro.
S. Zerdy.
No.
Just almost like a flawless cover. Just a really beautiful cover. This is Action Comics number 1049. And
Let me see the cover again.
Oops, I'm trying to get it so it doesn't reflect. I just thought it was just a real clean cover. And just the look. And I don't know the series. I don't know if that's Kara or if that's another character.
I think that's Kara. It's looking like Supergirl.
This was a badass cover. This is Ghost Rider #9, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Ghost Rider.
Bro, I need this cover.
Oh hell yeah, I want that cover too.
Art Germ. Yeah. This is the Art Germ 30th anniversary special one for Harley.
Dude, check out this Ghost Rider book, dude.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's sick, dude. Wait, who's let me see who's doing the run? Go lower.
Oh, sorry.
Who's doing the run right now? Smith Junior Blood. I don't know these guys.
Oh. And then I'm gonna save that one for last. This one's just this was my lone actual pull list item. This is Avengers Assemble Part 2, Avengers issue number 63, Legacy 763. This is a is that Garon cover. Doesn't matter. This is just a cover but just a kind of fucked up cover between Doctor Doom and Captain America.
Nice.
It's a scene we might. Who knows? It's a scene we might see on the big screen someday. But last but certainly not least, it's no secret that Peach Momoko has become one of my favorite favorite artists in recent memory. Thanks to JR once again introducing to me to another amazing artist. Not only an amazing artist, but another Asian artist who does a phenomenal job. And I think that there is no one better who has been able to encapsulate this character in her style, and that is Peach Momoko's version of Psylocke. Absolutely adore this cover. If there was only one book I had to have signed by Peach Momoko, that would probably be it. I have been obsessed with that character since the X-Men the animated series, and the old Jim Lee run that my brother used to collect when I was a kid. It was one of the she was just an eye-popping character that I was like, wait, who is she? When my brother would get new X-Men books. So it was one of the few characters that got me to go like look away from Superman for a second. So yeah.
Shout out to Peach Momoko, man. And again, like I'm hoping your experience at New York Comic Con, the recent one, doesn't sour any of the future Comic Cons in America that she might partake in. Like, I'm hoping she'll come to more, man, because like, just She's so
she is
trashy.
adamantly has said in the past, and she is very good about interacting as much as she can with the language
Mhm.
barrier. She interacts with a lot of fans on social media, and
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that one day I get to meet her, and I want to meet Maria Levette, who did
Yep.
Faithless and a
She
couple other
was.
books for
I
Boom
just.
Studios.
Yeah. I just still remember like a couple years ago, man, when no one fucking knew who Peach was, and I saw a cover, a version cover of her. I think it was a Spider Gwen out in the store, man. I reached out to her saying, "Hey, are you gonna be in LACC?" Right? And she says, "Yeah, I'm coming." Like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this cover and have you sign it." And like, dude, she still very much is an awesome person. I'm hoping that she continues to, like,
Oh, so you've
hopefully,
met Peach?
yeah,
Oh shit, bro!
yeah, bro.
Asshole!
I'm a huge fan of her. Yeah,
I know you're a
it's,
huge fan of her. You're the one that
so,
introduced me.
so it's
People don't
like, yeah,
realize one
it's
of the
like,
first times that JR and I met,
yeah,
um,
art
and
germ.
really interacted with one another was at a one of the original brag nights at
Hmm.
the asylum, which is essentially a flex pool, but in person. And you brought your amazing Spider-Man No Way. Sorry, No Way Home, not No Way Home. Renew Your
Uh,
Vows,
yeah.
which were the art germ covers, and they were stunning. And I remember you tried to explain to me who this guy was, and I'm like, okay, like if your name's Art Germ, you're just a pretentious douchebag. I thought he was one of those kind of artists, but Stanley Lau could not be any cooler.
Hmm.
Total down the earth. He made me an awesome deal at Comic Con in 2019. Unfortunately, he did not make it to Comic Con in 2022. I'm hoping he'll return in 2023,
Yeah.
and he gets rid of his douchebag of a handler. And I hope he brings back David Chu, who, by the way, David Chu, glad to
Mhm.
see he's making the rounds. I believe he was at LA Comic Con last week.
He was. He was.
He was at New York. He was at C2E2.
Mhm.
Was not at San Diego. And I
Yeah.
believe I've read, good news for you, bro, is that I believe he's going to Emerald City.
Yeah. Again, for those who don't know, I'm going to the Emerald City Comic Con. Yeah, your boy's gonna be there for the whole 4 days or so. I want to,
Nice.
which is also gonna be like just damn sucks too, because I think that was one of the shows that the late great Jace Green Ranger was actually gonna go to this year,
Yeah,
and I
he
was
was.
hoping to
It
see
was
him that
that
year.
one, and I
Another
think
one,
it
I
was
think it was
that one,
Revolution. He was on
and
Revolution too.
I think he made. I think he was. It wasn't advertised yet, but
Mm.
he was always. I know he was friends with the guys that run Revolution, but
Yep.
he was also always at the one in Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
until there was, I think there was that was one of the. I think that was one of the first times it kind of went downhill for him. Was
Yep.
someone tried to kill him, literally tried to kill him at
Mm.
Phoenix Comic Con, but
Yeah.
he was a regular at that Comic Con
Mhm.
in Phoenix. So, and
Fucking
that was a
sucks,
that used to
dude.
be a massive one. Now it's called the Phoenix Fan Expo and blah blah blah.
Yeah. It
But
sucks. But
anyways, yeah, I think that's about all she wrote. Or
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, inevitably too, we're gonna have an episode too. Where we just show off all our favorite artists again for probably the third,
yeah, we
fourth
will
time
do
we've
a
done this.
full on artist
And
page.
yeah, and again for those who did not who didn't understand, like when he said when we every time we say asylum, we actually mean a comic book store called Comic Asylum here
Yeah,
in the Palm Desert Coachella Valley area.
I've actually had
Uh,
people tell me, like, have had flat out asked me or text me on Instagram, go like, when you
yeah,
say asylum, like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, it's the name of a comic store. He's like,
yeah,
wait, really? Like,
yeah, man,
I'm like, yeah. And he's like, dude, that's a fucking badass name for a comic book store. I'm
yeah,
like,
man.
yeah, dude, telling you.
We're called the inmates.
Okay. Sometimes we run the asylum.
Is what I'm saying.
God damn it, I keep hitting the freaking microphone. And
Hey man,
I,
hey, I'm telling you, bro, buy one of these. I should
I'm
like.
going to. It's on my Amazon list. I have, for those who don't know, JR has a HyperX microphone.
Yeah,
Um I
yeah,
have a toner mic, and
right.
it's a great microphone
Yeah.
for the price. It's
Mhm.
just I have
You
to
you
put it.
get
It
what you
has to be
pay
out of my
for.
way.
You get what you
What's up?
pay for. You get what you pay for. type of
No,
thing.
I think it's also my kids mess with it, and it's just it's they knocked it completely off of its little
Yeah,
stand, and it's just
I'm
never been.
that messed up. I might legit just buy you like the type of like the mic arm that I got because this thing is fucking hella stable.
No,
It's
I think that one, because that one is recommended, because I have
yeah.
that microphone, that HyperX, in my Amazon queue. I just because I
Mm,
want that one as my backup for when we
yeah.
take stuff on the road and stuff like that. But
Hell yeah, brother. Hell
so
yeah, brother.
don't forget, guys, coming up this week, we're gonna try and get more episodes in the can. We do plan on doing a Marvel Studios Phase 4 review, including a full review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which, by the way, won the box office again. It
Mhm.
has now reached over $400 million at the box office, one of the best outings for a post-pandemic theatrical release. Also, we'll talk about Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, of course, and what it means going forward for Phase 5 and the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're also going to have a Star Wars show, and this is going to be a little bit different than what we did a couple of years ago, where we broke down all the individual films. This is going to be more of a fan, kind of a more about JR and I and our fandom for Star Wars,
Yeah.
some of our favorite
Mhm.
things. We could talk about some of our favorite Star Wars experiences, but it will culminate with our full review of Andor Season 1, which we didn't quite get to do the bonus episodes we wanted to do, just with the holidays and where it landed with the season landing this year. We just
Mhm.
didn't have the time to do it. So but we'll get back in the swing of things next year with Secret Invasion, Echo, and all the other shows that are coming out next year. We'll get back in the swing of things of doing those Wednesday or Thursday or Friday bonus episodes and giving you guys a full review, because I know you guys really liked it.
Yep.
Anyways, don't forget, you can follow our show on social media. Go to link.tree PS Comics I Love You. Or you can go to any of the social media accounts there on the bottom of the screen if you're watching us. Don't forget, you can also download our show via any podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, official app, Spotify, and Anchor.fm, as well as Amazon Music. And don't forget
Mhm.
to give us a 5-star review and subscribe.
Mhm.
So, yeah. All right, my friend. It's going to be, I don't know what I got tomorrow. I think I'm doing shoulders tomorrow.
You? I'm doing
So,
chest tomorrow.
all right, very good.
I'm gonna hit 410, bro, before the year ends. I'm gonna hit 410 on bench. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I am speaking into freaking fruition, bro. I've been stuck at 395 for quite a while now, so I'm gonna try to hit 410. Just
Well, let me
really go
see.
past that.
Tomorrow is arms. I'm sorry. Tomorrow's arm day. Tuesday is chest. Then Wednesday is leg day.
Look at
Um,
you.
Friday is shoulders. And then sometime next week will be is when my brother and I do the
The what?
what's it called, not a clean and jerk,
Oh, the Olympic lifts. You're doing Olympic lifts?
no, we just do the just a lift, whatever it's called. I
Deadlift.
can't think of
Deadlifts?
deadlift. I'm sorry. Thank you. I fucking can't.
You're doing legs then.
Yeah, but it's no,
Just
yeah, you're
deadlifts.
right. You're right. I'm trying to think of what, because when we do on the weekends, when we do deadlift, we mix it in with
Yeah.
like a culmination of a little bit of some upper back stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we're talking shop about weightlifting. So,
Mhm.
anyways, uh, well, that alarm clock comes a lot sooner than you think, and I need to get some rest. Don't forget to subscribe to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/PS Comics I Love You. JR and I will be on there, and maybe I'll add some stuff on my personal account too as well. So maybe. All right, bro.
Well,
JR's over here flexing for real because he had no flex pool this week. So
bro, I feel like the last like couple of Thanksgiving or the last couple of like holidays now, I've been losing more weight than I've been gaining, which is kind of crazy to me. But like,
yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
he is JR Kambakungan, also not JR Comics 42. Check out his the link in his bio for his eBay page.
I guess no shit.
Kevin Pillow at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms except for TikTok. And like we said, and in Twitch.
Mhm.
All right, my bud. It has been fun. We will see you later this week with
Mm-hmm.
more. Yeah, go out there and play some video games. Get PlayStation
Hey,
Plus, get Xbox Game Pass Live, or whatever.
Play video games, buy comics, buy local.
There you go.
The reason why I sound like this is because I'm flexing right now.
There you go.
There you
And we'll hit the red button in broadcast.